Alright, it's time again for the 100 square inch tier list. We just did the 98, now we're doing the 100. And of course, first up, let's start with a couple of updates to my current opinion. So here's where we left off. We've got a very crowded S tier. Pure Aero Banana, we got the Clash up there, a couple of Pure Drives, Gravity Pro, and then rounding out the D tier, we've got that Instinct MP. A staple of the D tier. It's never leaving. Maybe if an F tier comes up, then it will get bumped down. Anyway, so the changes I want to make, first of all, I watched my last year's tier list video. What was I thinking? The Clash and S tier? Do I still respect the Clash as a racket? Yes. Does my respect mean it's worth an S tier? No, absolutely not. I'm a complete idiot. It's B at best. B for best, I guess. And the Pro needs to be bumped down also. So those are down. I think the Pure Drives still deserve to be where they are, and I'm still happy with that S tier. And the A tier, I'm still pretty happy. In that B tier, that's right, C tier, D tier. I'm pretty happy with these rankings. I think I did a pretty big misstep with the Clash. Respect the racket. No shade on the Clash. It's uncool, and I know you guys don't like, some of you really don't like when I say this, but it's a 3.5 kind of grandma-ish racket. Like, moving on, let's talk about some new rackets that I've tried this year, all new molds. The Shift 300. Obviously, right away, we're instantly breaking the rules. Shift 300 is a 99. I think we should round up here. Don't think the Shift belongs in the 98 tier list. I think it belongs here in the 100. So the question is, where does it belong? Well, it doesn't have a big history. It doesn't have any epic endorsements, so it can't be S tier no matter how good it plays. Does it play good though? To me, it doesn't really. It's an interesting racket, and I respect what Wilson tried to do with it, really engineering the flex of a frame to be maximum spin, but it's just so gimmicky. Like, all these crazy layups like the Clash and the Shift that Wilson is doing, I don't like them. I think the paint job on the Shift is pretty cool, so there's that, but I don't think it's a cool racket. It plays okay at best. I think it's B tier. Wilson is really continuing to hold down the B tier of the 100 square inch market. Next is the Pro Staff X. Now this is where I like Wilson. They're not trying to do anything nuts with the flex. They just stand to what they know. They know that Roger Federer is out, so they actually have to make good rack instead of just like letting all you brainwashed losers buy RF97s over and over again. So they had to make something good, and they did. I think this is a solid A tier choice. It's missing great endorsements. I think Wilson's really going to have to find someone cool. Tsitsipas turned out to be like the least cool guy of all time, and I think he's probably their number one endorsements, at least with the men. And boy, they're going to have to find someone young and good, quick. Korda. I cheer for Korda all the time, but I guess injury is a problem for him. Anyway, Wilson got to step it up, but A tier is still respectable. Next up, the Bolt. We got to talk about the Bolt. So, no endorsements, no history, can't be S tier, but I would venture to argue that this is the most innovative racket on this tier list, more innovative than the Clash and the Shift. Bolt just doesn't have the same kind of marketing power. That said, I don't think in its current form we're going to see these Bolts get that popular. I think they're going to remain a pretty much of a niche product going forward. I can't give it A. I think I want to give it B though. It plays more like a C or a D, but just the ethos of the Bolt, it's just such a cool idea. Next, let's talk about the Boom MP. So last year, you probably should have put that on last year. Didn't you try the Boom last year? No, I didn't. I tried the Boom Pro. This is the MP. It's a 100. I'm supposed to be a Pure Drive competitor. I think it has less power than the Pure Drive. And it's such an empty feeling racket to me. I picked it up for a couple of hits. I have a video on the channel if you really care about watching my terrible footwork with this Bolt. This Boom. So even I think the Bolt name is better than the Boom. The only redeeming factor that the Boom MP has is the Coco Gauff endorsement. I think she's cool. I like the whole what New Balance is doing with her, and she's getting really well marketed, I think. Would love to see her fix her forehand, as with the rest of the world, I think. But I have to be real, the WTA is not as good for cool factor as the ATP. That's probably as much as I need to say about that. So Boom, I think, is right now a C. It's a C racket. I'd never want to pick one up again until the new version comes out, at least. It was super uninspiring to hit with, and it belongs in C. Let's talk about the update. So the update with the Pure Aero 100. I don't like that it's called the Pure Aero 100 now. I feel like it was cool and it was just the Pure Aero, but I understand the distinction they have to make, especially now that Carlos is gonna be probably Babolat's #1 driver of sales going forward. I do think this was a great update. I like the 2023 version a lot more than the 2019 version. If anything, this could boost it up to S+ because it's still backed by that amazing lineage. Do I love that racket, like, on the whole? Not really. I think it's a bit too muted, but Babolat did a good job with the update, and I think it's still a really appealing choice. And now related to that would be the Head Extreme MP. Previously, it was down here in C, and I think the old Extreme MP was generally one of the worst 100 scoring rackets. You could buy super hollow, super empty feeling, similar to the Boom actually, but whatever this auxetic is, whether it's legitimate, I don't know how much auxetic material they can actually put into the carbon, like from a material science standpoint, doesn't make sense to me, but my degree's in economics, not chemistry. So anyway, I think this is good. I think it's an A tier choice. I think the Extreme MP is now certainly better than anything in B tier. I don't think it can be quite S tier. It just doesn't have the professional endorsement power of everything we have in S right now, but it's a solid A. It's one of the best A's. I'll just move it forward to that near that E-Zone 100. Next, another one of my favorite classic A-class rackets is the Dunlop FX500. I think that's one of the best 100 scoring rackets you can buy, especially if you're, on more of a budget, because Dunlops do come in cheaper used. They're super cheap. Dunlop have horrible resale values. But considering how stiff it is, I think it's more comfortable than the E-Zone 100. I think it's more comfortable than the Extreme MP, the Pure Aero, or the Pure Drive. Whatever this like power groove channel that helps the grommets kind of flex a little bit on impact, takes a lot of the shock away. Dunlop did a great job with this one. It's super stable, yet it retains a lot of control that you just don't get in the Babolat Pure Drive. If they had a good endorsement, it would be S tier, but Dunlop missing the money bucks. I recommend you buy that racket so they can afford a cool endorsement, so that we can eventually move it to S tier one day. Actually, a plus version would be also very cool. But one thing Tennis Nerd was very interested in, and he got me very interested in, is the Blade 100, endorsed by Tennis Nerd's friend Henrik. Henrik is one of the classic OG content creator and contributors to Tennis Nerd's channel, and he's got an amazing taste in rackets. Tons of respect for Henrik. He just gotta love it. You gotta give Henrik's racket at least an A. The question is, does Henrik's racket give him the S? I think probably not. It's not even the top of A. I think I want to give the Dunlop the top of A. This isn't the bottom of A, it's just kind of hanging off on the side of A. Alright, next up we've got, let's go the Gravity MP. So previously we had the Gravity MP sitting right here, sitting pretty in A tier. Didn't have any, I don't think it has any endorsements. Most of the endorsements seem to be for the Pro version specifically. But they did change for the new version. Of course, the paint job. I think the Gravities probably are the best looking racket. The Ultra is a close second, but the Gravities are so good looking. It's actually crazy. That new paint job is so good. It's subtle yet genius. But because they reduced the flex to 59, It's too flexy, man. Like, they're trying to turn the Gravity MP into a Clash competitor, and kind of was. Like, a lot of the comparison reviews with the Gravity MP and the Clash, it was like Clash versus Gravity. I think that gave the Gravity MP a really bad name. The Gravity MP had a lot of players' potential in that previous version, but since they dropped that flex so low, there's a point where a racket becomes too bendy, it loses predictability, it becomes too noodly, and that's what happened with the Gravity MP. I think it's a bump down. It's almost a bump down to C tier for me, but the looks keep it in B tier. Of course, the Gravity Pro remains in S. Like, they're gonna really have to screw that racket up if they want to bump it down from S. It's got amazing endorsements of players who actually use the Gravity. You got Barty, you got Rublev, you got Zverev. That's just a killer frame. The new one feels great too. I'm working on the review for that now. Restring Zero plays quite nicely in that frame. Helps bring a little bit extra spin. I find 1820s can be hard to get that snapback. Restring Zero, obviously, especially if you watch Time for Tennis, you know that it has good snapback. And last up, we have the V-Core 100. Surprisingly, I didn't even talk about this racket in the last video, in the last 100 square inch tier list video, and I think this is a good racket. Definitely not D tier. I believe it's got the Rybakina endorsement, which does have some cool factor. A Russian winning Wimbledon when Russian players were banned from Wimbledon is an impressive feat that needs to be celebrated. I think this is an A tier racket, and here's why. It's very good. It was very well improved. So I played tennis with this guy. He has a couple of older V-Core 100s. Whoa, they are bad. They are shockingly bad. The 2018 V-Core 100s. Wow, that was one of the worst rackets I've ever played with. This one is so much better. It's soft, it's plush. I think you get more spin with the V-Core 100 than you get with the pure Aero. It doesn't have the lineage, it only has the cool Rybakina. I don't know if I'm saying that right, and I'm not gonna look. But I think it looks good, plays well, good spin, good comfort, not a lot of downsides to the V-Core 100. I can't put it quite an S because those rackets that are an S are just freaking hard to beat with their historical relevance. But there you go, there's the tier list. Let me know what I got wrong. I'm sure I missed a ton of stuff. Tell me what rackets I need to try. I'm sure all of you want me to try the Princes. Actually, my friend has some Techstream 100 310s or whatever, those Techstream Tour 310. That's a pretty nice racket, and it'd be nice if Prince would make themselves a little bit more available to me. Reach out to me, Prince. I want to work with you. You're a classic company. You're important to my own personal tennis lineage. You know, whenever I was growing up, my dad almost always had a Prince racket in his bag. So to me, I associate Prince with my dad's rackets. So, I'm going to give you a favorable review, Prince, if you just send me some free rackets. You need an endorsement like TennCom to help you sell some rackets, okay?